Good evening, everybody. President-elect Donald Trump today making key cabinet choices, naming South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley for the high-profile post of U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Mr. Trump praised Haley despite her sharp criticism of Trump during his campaign. Trump today released this statement saying, quote, "Haley has a proven track record of bringing people together regardless of background or party affiliation to move critical policies forward for the betterment of her state and our country." Trump's nomination of Haley would also elevate Lieutenant Governor Henry McMaster. McMaster backed Trump early, becoming, in fact, the first statewide elected official in the country to endorse him. Haley's confirmation as the next ambassador to the United Nations would make McMaster the next governor of South Carolina. We'll talk about the Trump transition decision-making process. We're talking tonight with Republican pollster Lee Carter, Washington Times columnist Charlie Hurt. And how are his appointments in comparison to his predecessors? Well, we'll give you a hint. Historic. Also with us tonight, executive editor of the Weekly Standard, Fred Barnes. And Donald Trump is still said to be seriously considering another prominent Republican rival, Governor Mitt Romney, to be his Secretary of State. But some Trump advisors, including Newt Gingrich, are vigorously pushing back.
I just think the challenge with Governor Romney is not just what he said about Trump. He was Trump's most vicious and most explicit opponent all through the campaign on the Republican side. And you have to list out all the things he said and think, gee, is this guy really going to be loyal? But also, Governor Romney wanted to be president, not Secretary of State. And you have to ask the question, when he goes overseas, is he going to be the Secretary of State for President Trump, or is he going to be Mitt Romney's own Secretary of State?
We'll be talking about the Trump transition team's dynamics and what's next. Steve Cortez, a member of Trump's Hispanic Advisory Council, joins us. And we'll be talking as well about the challenges the new president will face in less than 2 months. Iran's leadership again threatening America. Vladimir Putin raising the threat level of his military in the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad, an enclave bordered by Poland, the Baltics, and Belarus. Fox National Security Analyst K.T. McFarland joins us. And our top story tonight, Trump filling out his cabinet, making 2 additional choices, including Nikki Haley as U.S. Ambassador to the UN. Trump also nominating Betsy DeVos as Education Secretary. She's a former Michigan Republican Party chairwoman, longtime advocate of school vouchers. Trump has made now 7 appointments so far, 3 of them cabinet-level positions. Other choices likely imminent. Retired neurosurgeon Dr. B.Carson, hinting he's ready to accept an offer to head the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Carson posted a statement on his Facebook page saying, quote, "After serious discussions with the Trump transition team, I feel that I can make a significant contribution, particularly to making our inner cities great for everyone." And the Wall Street Journal now reporting Trump is expected to select billionaire investor Wilbur Ross to head the Commerce Department. Joining us tonight to assess all of this and a lot more, Washington Times columnist, Fox News contributor Charlie Hurt, political communications expert and partner at Maslowski and Partners, Lee Carter. Lee, it's great to have you both. Lee, I want to start with you. He's making women an emphasis in his early choices.
I think that he's doing a lot of very important things. Number one, he's talking to people that nobody expected him to, like Mitt Romney. Nikki Haley was also. She didn't necessarily support him during the election, but he's saying that I think it's more important that she has her experience and it's the right time, right position, right person. And I think all of these are going to go a long way to making people feel more comfortable with President-elect Trump than they have been so far.
Charlie, what do you make of it? He seems to be moving much faster than, well, his predecessors certainly have in recent memory. And he's also making choices that, as Lee suggests, were not necessarily obvious or conventional.
Not at all obvious or conventional. And so much for the anti-women-racist that we have been told for the last year that Donald Trump is. I think 2 of the most interesting ones choices so far is Betsy DeVos for Department of Education and B.Carson as HUD Secretary, just because it's sort of surprising. A lot of people thought that B.Carson would be good at HHS, but the truth of the matter is, given his biography, he grew up in Detroit, his wonderful book, Gifted Hands, is a story about a mother, a single mother who raised two sons in deplorable conditions in a place like Detroit, and help them reach their fullest, greatest potential. And my goodness, if there's nothing else we could get out of housing and urban development, it would be that. That would be a truly miraculous turnaround. And so I think that these are all very, very exciting picks, and the choice of Jeff Sessions as Attorney General proves to me that Donald Trump is very serious about putting forth a very constitutional sort of agenda with his Attorney General.
Yeah, delivering on the campaign that he ran and the promises he made. Betsy DeVos is Charlie Hussein Lee, an interesting choice because she has been committed to charter schools, committed to vouchers, and public education in this country has always been, when you get through all of the federal programs, all of the nonsense, the reality is this country has always had one great equalizer, one area that was the foundation of our meritocracy, and that is public education. If he can fix public education, he'll go down in the ages for being a successful president.
I think it's one of his big priorities. I think bringing somebody in who has this different kind of perspective and view and is willing to make some big bets on doing things differently is really important right now. I think there's a lot of discussion about the uneducated in this country, about where we are right now, about why we need jobs, and I mean, he's even talked about how does everybody need to go to college? Maybe not necessarily. Maybe we need to move back to technical schools.
The answer is hell no, and people shouldn't even, to me, there shouldn't even be a discussion about it.
But I think these are refreshing conversations.
Real money right now in this country are tradesmen, they are craftsmen and women, and to shut down vocational high schools and to end shop in our high school, our public education system. Our public education right now is being held hostage by teachers' unions and such conventional and thought that it's incredible. Just keep repeating the same process and turning out what is a less educated class every year. It's devastating what we're doing in public education, Charlie.
And totally beholden to the teachers' unions, as you say. And, Donald Trump surprised all the experts, all the pollsters, everybody, by performing so much better, or performing better among Hispanic voters and black voters.